So today we're going to finish up our chapter on percents, and we're going to focus on simple interest, and you're going to see the formula for simple interest and learn what each piece means and how to solve for different pieces. We started class and I chatted with you about kind of interest in the real world to help put these definitions in context, that interest is money paid or earned for the use of money, and that principal is the amount of money borrowed or deposited. And there are many types of interest, and we talked about how we're going to focus on simple interest, which is money paid or earned only on the principal. You wrote down this formula, which is this formula you'll be using for all of the practice. So interest equals percent times rate times time. Rate is always given to you as a percent. It is your job to turn it into decimal form before placing it into the formula. And time always needs to be converted to years, if not given in years, before placing that information into the formula. So our first example is about just finding the interest earned and then the balance after a period of time. So you put $500 in a savings account. The account earns 3% simple interest per year. So first, what is the interest earned after 3 years? So I'm looking for interest I, which means I'm going to put in the information for the other 3 pieces. So principal is the money you start with, so $500. Rate, 3% turned into a decimal. Time is 3 because it's already in years, 3 years. You multiply these 3 numbers and you get $45. So that's the interest earned after 3 years, $45. The balance then of your account after 3 years, assuming nothing has changed, is $500, the original amount, plus the $45 in interest, so a total of $545. So we did this example in class together. Same starting amount, same interest. This time the time has changed. It's now 9 months. So 500, 0.03 for principal and rate. Time, we talked about how it has to be put in years. It's 9 months right now. So it's going to be a number less than 1 because 9 months is less than 1 year. So you compare it to a full year, so 9 out of 12, which equals 3/4 or 0.75. You multiply and you get $11.25, which is the interest earned, which then helps you find the balance of $500 plus $11.25 for a total of $511.25. You must show this work right here, this line, and this line of work. Don't just jump from here to here. Don't just jump from here to here. Show me every step, please. We have a lot of people taking shortcuts lately. Please, no shortcuts, every step. And you did this one on your own, and you were all very successful with it. Of course, you're not always just going to be solving for interest, which would be nice because it's such the simple one to do. You could be solving for any other piece of this formula, the principal, the rate, or the time. In this example, we're going to be solving for rate because you put $1,000 in an account. The account earns $100 simple interest in 4 years. So what is the annual interest rate? So step 1 is to combine like terms. So you do 1,000 times 4 and you get 4,000. Then to get R alone, or rate alone, you divide by 4,000 each side and you get the decimal 0.025 equals rate. Rate is always reported as a percent, so your one final step is to move the decimal 2 places to the right for 2.5%. We did this one together in class. So you put $350 in an account. The account earns $17.50 simple interest in 2.5 years. What is the interest rate? So interest earned, $17.50. The principal is the amount you start with, or $350, times the rate, which is what we're searching for, times time, and it's already reported in years, so 2.5. So you multiply your 2 numbers to get them together, so you have one number to divide by. You end up with 0.02, or 2%. And you guys did this one on your own, and you were quite successful. The only error that I saw was that some of you mixed up the 224 and 700. If you do that, you're going to get a funny answer. You're not going to get any funny decimals today with your work. You might get a decimal that repeats, like 0.33333 repeating, because that's the fraction 1/3. And so don't think that is the wrong answer, because that's a common fraction and a common decimal in our number system. But numbers that have no pattern to them, or you don't typically see, then you know you've made a calculation error, or you've got a number in the wrong spot, or you didn't convert a number to start with. You can find time as well. These ones are actually a little bit easier because you don't have to do any converting at the end back into years. The answer will come to you as years. So you just plug in all the same information, multiply, divide, and in this problem you got 6 1/4 years. We worked on this one together, but this time the interest rate changed because the principal changed to $10,000, and this bank changes the interest rate based off of the starting amount, which is a common thing for some banks to do. So it became times 0.03 instead of 0.02, and we got an answer of 2.5 years to earn $750 interest on $10,000. We didn't do this one because we wanted to look at this one, which is very similar to the first example where you were finding interest earned over time, except it's the same idea, but now it's interest paid instead of interest earned because you're borrowing money. So you borrow $600 to buy a violin. The simple interest rate is 15%. So notice the interest rate is much higher when you borrow money because this is how banks, credit card companies, and all of those places that loan money make money. So you pay off the loan after 5 years, so how much do you pay for the loan? So the principal is $600, the interest rate is 15% or 0.15, and it's going to take you 5 years to pay it back. So during that time of 5 years of paying it back every month, little by little, you're paying for some of this $600, but you're also paying a little bit extra because the bank wants to make money, or whoever loaned you the money wants to make money off of that investment. So you're going to pay $450 in interest over that 5-year period. So the total cost of your violin, or the total cost of your loan, is really the $600 you paid for the violin plus the $450 in interest that you got charged for that loan. So it's $1,050 for that violin instead of $600 if you could have just paid it all up front. And then we did this one. You borrowed $300 to buy a guitar. The simple interest rate is 12%. You pay off the loan after 4 years. So how much do you pay for the loan? So it's the same setup. You can't purchase that $300 guitar up front, so you're going to borrow. So your principal is $300. Your interest rate this time is a little bit lower, 12%, and you get a year less to pay it back. So over that course of time, not only are you going to pay $300 for the guitar, you're going to pay back $144 in interest. So your total cost, or your total loan amount, is $444. So that's a glimpse at simple interest.